Shane dish it out. Oh! Comes to Jerem with a shot. Oh, that's it, Jerem! Well, you know, live again.
Well, welcome everybody. We're one pole down, so you're holding up the net this week, CT.
I'll hold the
Got
net and the other end can go a bit wobbly.
Yeah. With us, Pearcey. How are you, Pearcey?
Good, thanks.
Do you like Pearcey?
Pearcey, yeah. That's the comment.
Not the Pierce dog?
No.
P Diddy? No, we don't say that these days. That's been bad in the news.
No, Pearcey's general, yeah.
Yeah.
People call me Pearcey or AP.
Of course, the current Hamilton Olympic goalkeeper. I'm just reading stuff about you now.
Well, that's
not
not
great.
football.
He's an
beach
Aquarius.
shots
He's an Aquarius. Likes long walks on the beach and has a dog named Patsy.
No,
Anyway.
that's definitely the wrong Adam Pearce.
For those of you that don't know Adam Pearce, we'll come back and have a bit of a discussion about his...
You told me it was Aaron Pearce. Adam Pearce.
Yeah, Adam.
He didn't. He didn't.
We're about brothers.
No, I know.
Carrying on with that.
Yeah, I could tell. Anyway, what were you saying?
Nothing. Talk about Pearcey later.
Yeah, we will. But let's have a review. Obviously, you were deep in the thick of it, and as a goalkeeper up against Western, who finally got an away game. They seem, because we always say it's like the Mandela effect. They're always playing at home, Western, but they came to town, and I think it was noted in the show last week. They've got a very good record at Olympic there at Hamilton. Maybe the backdrop suits them, the Western boys, potentially. But yeah, they've got a very good record up there, and they came away with a win, 2-1. It was one of those games. When they get it right, Western, they get it right, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think for us preparing for the game, we obviously went up there early in the season and we got away with a lucky result, I believe, with a 1-0 result. But, it seems to be last year they had a similar result. I think it was 3-1. And, they beat us comfortably. And, I thought where they are in the table isn't a true reflection of, I feel like, the way that they play football. They've got a few good players, that Japanese boy and that striker up top, they're definitely proving to be a handful. And I think the team's solid. So, obviously the weekend was a bit of a tough one for us to swallow with the position we're in at the moment. But ultimately, I think we went there a little bit lapsadaisy, and, at the end of the day, you pay for it. And they're a good team to punish you.
Yeah, certainly, and a couple of pretty good goals as well. But yeah, just through the midfield, I thought you guys kind of maybe lacked a bit of consistency on the transition, maybe, and just they won that battle. And when they're winning that midfield battle, Western, they're very hard to compete against, because they do knock it around and control the ball nicely. Yeah,
absolutely. I felt like where I felt we got hurt the most was they do like to play with width. And I guess for us, the setup, they seemed to have more of an out a lot more of the time when we did have pressure on the ball in the midfield, which we overloaded, which ultimately the goal come from a cross out wide and a header. And the second goal was a penalty, but it was in a wide area. I felt like that was probably their game plan to stick to what they do and open the field up. Ultimately, it come down to the two goals that made the difference, and we got one late, but we didn't have enough time, obviously.
And how does the heart still feel when they step up to the spot? Is it because you are one of the best shot stoppers in the competition at the spot? I mean,
yeah. Look,
what goes through your mind? I've always wanted to know. Obviously, too short to be a goalkeeper.
Look, you know what? I just think it's a 50-50 chance. I think I'd try and say a few things before the penalty, and and
out loud or to yourself?
Out loud.
In your head?
Out loud. No, I tend to have a chat to the guy and just say, mate, look, where do you think you're going to go? Like, put a bit of pressure on them, because ultimately I'm a sit and duck on the goal line and trying to defend it. But I just pick a side and go as hard as I can. Yeah. So if it does go low, high, I'm in a position to affect something.
Yeah.
But it's just the flip of a coin. If you get it right, you get it right. If you don't, it's a goal.
Yeah, sure. Unbelievable. What about you, CT?
Oh,
when you step up to take him.
Look, I always said this is no shit. I always thought that he was a 5% chance, not him, but all goalkeepers.
Yeah.
And the only way I was going to get stopped if I hit them at speed.
Yeah, right, gotcha.
Full step drive, game.
The only other thing that I do sometimes is set up in a position where I'm off centre of the penalty spot, and they think, what is he? All right, is he thinking that he's in the middle? And it gets in their head to go to that side that I'm showing a lot more goal.
Yeah.
And then you start to go early, and it's like. But to be honest, since I've done that, I've probably saved maybe 1 out of 5.
Yeah, so right. Because I've noticed now a lot of goalkeepers start behind the line, like further back than usual, as well as that, to give you a bit of.
Well, just because the new rule, if you come off the line now a metre or something, and affect the play in an advanced position, they retake the penalty. Over and over again. I just think that's ridiculous.
It's unfair.
It's unfair.
Well, how's the goalkeepers union feel about this?
Mate, look, you could bring 10 goalkeepers in here. And
if there was a goalkeepers union in, I know we're getting off track as usual. Who would run it in Newcastle? Who'd be the Northern? Who'd be the chapter president of the union here?
Loosest.
Keepers alike.
I'd probably have to say. Myself, but then you look at BK.
Yeah,
Ben Kennedy is he's a man that's done it.
Well, he's the money collector.
He's
collecting the dues.
He's the great guy and great goalkeeper, and I think if there's any rules to be run, I'd be running through BK before anyone else.
Yeah, fair enough.
Rod Meadows keeper as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, I was going to say the Magic Alvarez. This is Alvarez. I could always say Alcatraz because he needs to be locked up. I think you'd have trouble in convincing him to join.
Yeah, look, do you know what, Lewis? It's funny with Lewis. He's a kid who actually went through the Mariners.
Yeah.
He was there for a little bit, and he trained with us a few times. But he's a good kid, and it's good to see him doing well. And I don't like the team that he's playing.
I know, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about that later. But in any case, let's get back on track. We did this game, Jaffers versus Edgeworth, thanks to Matt Butner, suspended, and he put his hand up, and I'll tell you what, Gary Wilson's in trouble.
Oh no, I was ready to get
I wouldn't say you.
And Matt Butner, what a beaut job, because I was sitting at a pub in New Zealand thinking, how good is BarTV? You can just do this anywhere.
Did you have it on the big screen?
Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
You get it
multiple screens, and I had the whole pub involved.
Did you get him to download the app?
No, I just cast it from my phone to multiple. It was great. So, no, he did a cracking job, beauty job. Yeah,
he was good, and the game itself. Whoa. I mean, Edgeworth, to be fair, they were the better team of the two, and if I'm Magic or Jaffers, they're the team at the moment that I'm looking behind. And again, Seth Clark, he took a while to come into the game, but when he did, you can't touch him. It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
It's very, very rare you're going to see one player dominate a game like he does, because what he can do is he can keep the ball away from other people and hold it long enough till that hole appears, and then he'll release it. But the holes that he's releasing the people into, and this is what I like about his game the most, is people that typically are not under pressure.
Yeah.
So he's got himself wound and caught away, drags one or two, and then releases someone who's typically not under pressure, and it results in a top end activity in the attacking third. So you talk about transition. He's the one that really brings it forward, that attack that they've missed in the first part of the year. And what a player. He's fantastic.
He's really good. And special mention to Foots up front. Didn't score a goal, but every time he was causing some pretty good defenders in that Jaffers back line, some real headaches. Yeah, just taking two away and opening up the space. And they and Gary said it all year, hasn't he? They've missed those sort of two attacking players over the last couple of years, and now they've got them. Their midfield absolutely firing. Melmoth, the young kids they bring on, they lose nothing in them either. We talk about Magic having a youthful, deep bench, but Edgeworth has it as well, I think. And Jaffers, for me, I mean, I know we said it at the end of last year as well. They're starting to look a little bit tired. I think a couple of
Yeah, that's so true. I was just going to talk about foots.
Yeah.
Like when you've got someone scoring this goal, I'll ask you this question, but scoring goals like he is, he's going to attract some attention. So those experienced players of Jaffas really, take up some time. When you're playing against someone like that, how much energy have you got from your central defenders to doing that? And happy birthday, Marcus Duncan, while we're there this week.
This week, yeah. Look, I think it's... You want to kind of focus on the team as much, as both, 11v11, but when you've got someone, obviously, like you mentioned, and he's a good player, and for us, it's about, obviously, looking after the defence. Rutsy and, Marcus at the back, the times that we have played them, it's been a key element and, a process for us to kind of understand and try and nullify those players because, obviously, they've got a bit of confidence scoring goals, they're getting in positions, as you mentioned, and, I think... You need to be aware of the threat because ultimately, if you're not, then they punish you, and at the end of the day, I'm picking it out of the net. They do definitely present a bigger value to the defensive side in that aspect of trying to not leak goals to them.
So when you're in that zone too with Rutledge and Duncan, you can see because they know each other's game so well. Do they put a bit of cover on for each other when you're up against a player like that?
Yeah, look, I guess it's Rutsy and Marcus, the greatest pairing to play in front of, so behind. They've, experienced, played with each other for years now. In terms of the cover, like Marcus goes out, Ruts will come underneath, vice versa, and I feel like we do that quite well. And throughout the season, Ruts and Marcus have been amazing.
Yeah.
They've really done well this year and kept us in many games. But yeah, in terms of a play like that, you just need to be aware, and I think the times that we have, we've actually done all right against them.
No, I think the standard of defending as a whole in the competition, it's really good. But there's some good defenders in this comp. Speaking of good defenders, Pat Wheeler, he left the game really early, and young Berridge that came on, or Berrick, young kid, didn't look out of place at all either. So special mention to him too. Let's go. Lake Macquarie 0, Charlestown 4.
No surprises there. Yeah, here's what it is. Lake Macquarie are in for a battle, and when they come up against these sides from second division in the playoff zones, that's when their real test is going to be.
They're straight down. There's no playoff for them, unfortunately. Now Adamstown have made it clear, clear out of that. So. Right. It is a real shame because they've got a really good young team, and I'd like to see them, for the competition, stick together. I do think they'll come up next year if they do keep sort of that nucleus together. But speaking of Mick Stafford last week, a lot of those guys come from the coast, and a lot of them are 20 minutes away from Belswan. So
that's right.
May lose a couple there, and we said it last week. It's a good opportunity for Belswans to pick up and consolidate a spot in the top flight as well. But this match, I don't know if you caught it, but we mentioned defenders before and covering Bogues and Taylor Regan. Yeah, they do it so well.
Absolutely. No, look, absolutely, and I think in terms of Lakes, you've been there as well, and I've spent time at the club, and it's just. It is the game, and I do like the aspect of the relegation and promotion. But when you've got a club that's got rich history and have been around for a long time, it is a bit sad to see that kind of happen to a club.
Well, it's the same as Adamstown's the oldest club in Australia as well. And I think they'll play in the playoff, and I think they'll probably have too much class for the lower teams to come, but
I'm not so sure.
Who's
not so sure.
Say? Yeah. I've been wrong many times this year, CT.
Yeah, well, so we all have. But I think it'll be really interesting. That's a given.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Adamstown, they took on the People's Club, Valentine.
We're getting the People's Club
3-0. That was expected as well. They came off a very good win the week before against Jaffas Valentine in a fight for fifth place with you guys. It's a good battle, and both teams can make the five. Just got to win the last two games. You guys now in the box seat after the win Tuesday night.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
So a lot of football played in the next couple of weeks.
And look, it's good. I like the position, and I feel like we've probably looked back on the season and go, there's points lost in some games, but at the end of the day, we're in a position where we are, and it's good to know that we've got a couple of games coming up that are important as the first, and second, third, fourth games throughout the whole year. These games have a big emphasis for our finals. We want to try and cement fourth, so we can at least get a home semi would be good. But ultimately, we've got two games up.
And it's not even just the teams that go, we've dropped points here and there, because everyone has, but individual players, if I didn't do that or if I did that, it gets down to that level, doesn't it?
Exactly.
I let that one runner go and that cost us, and that was 3 points.
Yeah.
And players know that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and look, and for me, it's good for Valentine. They started the season, so well. They dropped off a little bit, and I think, given the coaching staff's going away, they have lifted, to end the season as a team. It's it's hard to say who's going to go where next year. There's obviously, you hear the rumours locally and all that sort of stuff, but hopefully they keep that nucleus together towards the end of the year, and no offence, but I hope they make the semis.
Well, they can kick Charlestown out.
yeah, true. Well, that can still happen too. Yeah.
Well, it's like I've been kicking Olympic home for about 3 months.
Well, you said it at the start of the year there, you're smoky, Olympic. Yeah, so credit to you, CT. 1-800-CT's tips.
As long as it's not from Ukraine. Okay.
And mate, I'll tell you, Georgia. Maitland, New Lambton, did this surprise anyone? I mean, in hindsight, probably surprised you after the 7-1 drubbing last night, but on the weekend, 1-1 with Maitland. Jeez.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I felt like Maitland, when we played them at home early on in the season, they were different teams when we played them in the second half. And the week before, I think they lost 5-0 to, was it
Jaffers
or Jaffers?
Yeah, it was Jaffers. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's obviously with Bolchi not being there next year and a bit of uncertainty around the club. I feel like it's unfortunate for them, but New Lambton after last night, it's tough to say that a few of the players that Maitland have got for them to match it, to be honest, because I felt like last night it was. Yeah, it could have been more than 7, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't actually see the game. I was out at the Jaffers game. Thanks to Snedo for the corporate hospitality. I was up there with the sponsors, and I was
busy. Snedo.
Oh no, sorry, I wasn't supposed to be there.
Snug in the back door.
Yeah, we just went up, took my own airs and graces, and took myself up there and
flashed a badge and went in.
I let him talk about me in his speech, and he did. Right. Yeah. Said that I've never got anything nice to say about Jaffers, but it was funny though last night at the Australia Cup game. So obviously it was a Jack McLaughlin Oval. So the Jaffers guys have got the big official signs made up for Northern, and they renamed it Snedden Oval. And that was on the official, as you walked in the gate.
Yeah, right.
The official sign. So
I'm sure Millsy would have been.
Yeah, Millsy would have been stoked for that. I mean,
Tuesday night. Yeah.
Snedo already paid his money, so do what you want, I guess. And I mean, and that's got to affect the Jaffers and Edgeworth as well, both coming off some pretty hefty losses midweek. So to get back together, and particularly Jaffers, because they were going 27 straight, they won, and now they've lost the last 5 or 4 out of 5.
Look, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're going to lose a couple in a row, it does affect your confidence. And if you take those losses out and put them against Melbourne, yes, they're going to get beat for sure. But are they going to put up a better fight? More than likely, because the belief is there. You get used to winning. So if one goes in, it's a shock.
I think it'll affect Jaffers more, that midweek game, more than Edgeworth. I mean, Edgeworth unlucky there with the player sent off last night.
Yeah, well, Seth
we're up
Clark,
1-0.
He that was a turning point for me when he got sent. I don't know whether you saw the game or not, Pearcey, but when he got sent off, then they were just immediately under pressure, and this Perth side, they had some good players in it, including Mitch Oxborough that we know here well. But they had, like the commentator kept saying, they got strength all over the park, and they did. So when they had that player sent off Edgeworth, we got ourselves in all sorts of trouble because we were constantly under the track, and Conway in goals. Gee, he had a cracker.
Honestly, on against Jaffers, He got my man of the match, and I rarely, sorry about this again, rarely give it to a goalkeeper because it's not a position. But some of his saves,
What'd you say? It's not a position.
It's not a position that you give the man of the match to.
Yeah.
Well, it is a position, but
Yeah.
it's debatable.
Look,
Yeah.
I know where we stand.
Anyway, Pearcey, your turn. Read it out and let us know where everything sits. Do you need glasses?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
so
just a ladder.
Yeah,
Just
so
a
we've
ladder.
got Broadmeadow leading on 49 points. Jaffers 46 points. In second, we've got third Edgeworth 42 points. Fourth, we've got Charlestown on 33. Valentine on 30, which is fifth. We won last night, which I don't think this is updated. So we're
33.
on 33 points also with in the top five. Cooks Hill on 28 points at 7th, 8th Western on 28 points, Maitland 9th on 25, New Lambton 10th on 15, Adamstown Rosebuds 9 on 11th, and Lake Macquarie 4, 12th on the ladder.
Yeah, nice one. No, thanks for that. We're going to take a quick break, and obviously see there. Don't forget to download the app. Buy the merch.
Yep.
Buy the merch that gets you into any ground free.
Flash it,
any grassroots ground free. Just flash it, and we'll be back with the As a Pearce story. Here we go. We're back and ready to go and looking forward. You seem a bit. Are you jet lagged?
No, I'm all
Do
right.
you get jet lagged from New Zealand?
No, I don't think you do. No.
I reckon. Well, the boys from Edgeworth, they might. I reckon the Perth flight is worse than the New Zealand
Oh,
flight.
absolutely.
Yeah,
There's only
it's a
2 hours
shocker.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the flight back when you get
There's
that
no
bloody
excuse.
when you get that bloody red eye,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah. Especially you're at Perth Airport, couple of the finest,
Yeah, that's right.
and then you're hung over by the time you get to Sydney. But now, and looking for a new sponsor to the show, Newcastle Airport, direct to Perth.
That's right. We'll be looking for that for sure. And just on a personal note, I'm flying a lot, Newcastle Airport, so we'll get you on board.
The CT frequent flyer program. It's got a ring to it.
So if you're listening, Dick, we need a sponsor.
Thanks, Dick. In any case, Pearcey, well, obviously you've had a really good career. Been in and around some good academies and the like as well. Tell us a little about where'd you grow up? I know nothing about you. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's,
well, you came on very last minute, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, we had we had no one organised. But no, I really do appreciate you coming on and spending some time. Now you've got a couple of houses to get over the line.
No, that's fine. Well, yeah, thanks for having me. It's,
Yeah.
as soon as I seen the phone call from CT, I'm like, oh, yeah, how you going? What's
Well,
going on? And
you do the opposite to me because I'm normally I'll call you later.
No, so I grew up in Foster.
Yeah.
I grew up in Foster, moved from Sydney when I was 5, lived up there until I was about 15.
Yep.
When football was something that I wanted to pursue a little bit more, and the opportunity come up after trialling at Hunter Sports for the Open Schoolboys, I think it was at the time. To come down and go to the school and I guess be involved in the program. From there, moved out of home. Family still stayed in Foster. I moved with another family out at Minmi.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was going to say it's nearly quicker from Foster.
Yeah, that's it. So it was a bit of a lonely time out there after training and school, but it's things that you have to do to I guess put yourself in a position where you're involved. And I felt like being in Foster was that bit far away, where kids at that age were obviously developing into the kind of next programs, and that was the N-Swiss and stuff at the time. And the Jets obviously was to follow that pretty soon after, once you get a bit too old for that program.
Yeah.
The parents come down a year later and moved in and settled in nicely.
Did they let you move in with them?
Or
you had to stay out of Minmi?
Well, I'm trying to work out whether they let me get out of the house at 15 for a reason or not.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Because there's some bad kids in Foster.
There is. It's a
Joke and love Foster.
Foster's a good place, and always go back and spend time.
One of the magical parts of the world.
It is, and it's not far away. So if it's an hour and 45 up the road.
Less with the new freeway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That isn't an hour and 45 through the Bulladila Bends, the old days.
Yeah, the old Lakes Way.
Yeah. Guarantee your dog to spew up every time when you go there on holiday.
Yeah, it's not a straight road, that's for sure. Potholes everywhere.
Yeah. But a beautiful part of the world. So this is blowing my mind. Foster to Minmai. So how did you feel going from the Lakes Way, the beautiful water and all that to Minmai Creek?
It was a bit of a shock at first.
Yeah.
And I guess I was in a position where I didn't really have much time to take anything else in besides training and playing. To be honest, I was training 2 mornings a week with school, 5 nights of the week with soccer, and then weekends I was playing 2 games. So I was kind of in a position where I was living was just a kind of a time I spent there to sleep.
Right. And did you say, do you still keep in contact with the family, or?
Yeah, so the family were mum and dad's like family friends.
Oh, gotcha.
So still keep in touch with them, and I guess that I wouldn't have had any experiences that I've had in the past if it wasn't for them, because 15-year-old coming from Foster, like you said, you don't know what you're going to get. Who's gonna let this guy stay?
Well,
so
imagine if you started stealing the chips out of the cupboard.
Well, I was actually scared to go and eat. It's not my cupboard. I'm like, the mum and dad are.
Well, you asked quite slight for a goalkeeper. You've grown. You haven't really grown into your body yet. When do you expect that to happen?
Oh, look, mate, I've been waiting for years.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to all come at once, because I don't mind having a beer and I've heard that if you don't look after yourself, it can build up. So I'm happy to stay a bit leaner until the day comes that footy's no more, and then I can enjoy that kind of.
It does pose a question, and we see it a lot more now. Kids coming from mid North Coast. I know my young he's got a kid in his team. He comes from Tamworth. Plays at Valentine, with the hope of obviously good player and trying to back himself and come down. What advice? I mean, it's young, isn't it? What advice do you give to some of these kids? And I know, I've been building it out, and that was hard enough. As a kid, you're having to make the move at a young age. You've barely a hair on your chest, let alone your nuts.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I guess those kids that are, you'd say, country people, I think obviously the opportunities aren't in those areas, so you do have to make those sacrifices to be in front of people, whether it's playing local or being in the representative sides. And I think the mentality as well, I believe, is different, that I've seen from the country boys versus the more or less city boys that have had it from the young ages and have been involved in
Silver
everything. Silver spoon mentality. And I feel like being in a position, knowing a lot of the people's or the kids' mental strength is a lot different. From travelling 2 hours to get to training 3 nights a week and then playing on a weekend. I think it's just to stick at it. And do as much as you can, because your parents sacrifice a lot as well as you, and being able to give back and having a purpose for the weekend, and what could potentially look forward for the future for them is bright. And I think it's just about staying in it and not getting disheartened, because from the time that I did spend in Newcastle, I remember calling mum and dad, crying, bawling my eyes out that I didn't make a team, and it was due to a goalkeeper coach that was employed at the Jets, and his son was nowhere to be seen ever. But I was doing everything that I could. But laid in a bed.
It's a bit of nepotism, you say?
Yeah, mate. Oh, it was, and
I just like that word.
Yeah, it was, and I remember laying in bed and in Minmai crying, and said, "Mum, come pick me up. I'm done." But I got off the phone, put the headphones in. I think I took off from Minmai to Green Hills on a run, and
did you?
And run back and
that's a fucking run.
Yeah.
For a goalkeeper, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I'd expect a midfielder or end winger doing it, but
I just had to clear the head, and I got back in the morning. I can't remember what time, would have been real early hours.
Yeah.
And said, "Mum, no, I'll stick it out."
Yeah, good on you.
So it's those little moments where it feels like if you're not in a position where you're being hurt, or you're being, the pressure of not feeling like it's just given to you, stick at it.
Because it is a lot of pressure, and kids put a lot of pressure on themselves, and there's other outside influences as well. But you got to remember, it's less than 1% that become professional athletes in not just in football but in any sport, and so it's you've got to make those sacrifices, and it's a mate, that's a pretty good. That's one of the best stories we've had on the show. To be fair, we haven't had someone admitting they cried, which nearly made me. Don't worry, nearly made me cry. I'm
I was
emotional.
a vulnerable little boy.
Yeah. No, that's all. I mean, it's a really awesome story. And so when you came down, you were a goal. Have you always been a goalkeeper?
No, so I was actually 13 or maybe 12 when a fellow named Jeff Finch. He was involved.
Finchy?
Yeah, quite heavily, I believe, at the time with the Jets. And he just said, look, jump in goals, big fella. And I was like, all right, no worries. And from there, he's like, I started to make those teams because kind of at that 12-year-old age, you're not really developed as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So if you can show some sort of, I guess back in the day, it was just height. If you were big, you've got half a chance. So
once you're in there, you're stuck there. So you never get back on the field.
I know. So it was a good move, and obviously, Jeff, he's a great guy, and still I sometimes see him around often at games, and it's always good to go over and say hello. And
cool.
He's ultimately given me a position that I always was like, the goalkeeper's like the unfit one, the fat one, staying goals.
We go a bit further down the track, and you had a taste of the A-League there at one point as well, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
At what point, was the fork in the road going, all right, well, that's my path there, or this is where I'm going to go? Because you're very successful in this league here, but to go down the A-League path wasn't an option, or where was that at?
Well, it's a bit of a story behind it, to be honest. I did spend time at the Jets, and I again run into the same coach that had his son involved, and you can
name him. You can name him.
Bob Catlin, his name is, and his son's name was Sean. And if you know me, I'm pretty outspoken and honest, and I'll tell you the truth if you like it or not.
Yeah. Which is rare in real estate too. So you get more and more points.
Mate, I just tell you the truth, and there's no point hiding behind the fact.
Yeah.
And there was a build up of things over the time that I spent in the club, and it got to a point where I got sent in from training, and Clayton Zane actually come in and said, you've got a decision to make. Where do you want to be? Do you want to stay, give it another shot or not? And I said, no, I'm not. I'll leave. And that was when I was 17.
Yeah.
So I then decided to start travelling and training in at the International Goalkeepers Academy down in Mount Druitt.
Yep.
So I was driving down there 3 nights of the week.
You pick some spots, don't you? Mount Druitt.
Yeah. Which, ironically, Liam Reddy was the first session I went down there. He was sitting on the bench. Because he had an involvement with Jim Fraser and Ken Greenwood, which great people. And after that, I was on the way home after the first session, and I got a call from John Crawley, which he said to me, come in and have a training session. You're going to be a train on. And I thought, okay, no problem. That's better than what I've got now.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and it was a trial. And mind you, I went into Clark Rubber. I had foam on both sides of my hips because diving on the synthetic. Down there,
true.
I couldn't even sleep on my side.
Shout out to Tony Munro, Clark Rubber.
Yeah. So I went there, and after that he said, "Mate, go and have a Coke. You've earned yourself a contract." And on that point was when I started to train with the first grade and be involved.
Yeah, cool.
That next year it was a position that kind of come up, and just being involved in it all the time and being in the training system but still playing in the youth team, that Paul Izzo and Tom Hewitt-Bell, another keeper that is still now playing at Western United, doing well, and obviously Izzo's gone off to better things from Victory, which is great. They were both sick on the day.
Yeah.
And me and Tommy Hewitt-Bell, we used to just take it in turns, alternate. Because we're on no money.
Yeah.
The youth team, but if you sat on the bench, you get $5.50.
Yeah, cool.
So I was like, Tommy, we're taking it in turns. So anyway, they were both sick, and I wasn't even in the team.
Yeah.
But it was on April Fool's Day.
Oh no! Yeah.
And me and John Hutchinson had a good relationship with a bit of banter. And he calls me up in the morning, and I remember eating Easter eggs, or I was eating chocolate, laying in bed, and he said, "Hey mate, I heard you were on the piss last night," and I was like. Well, I don't know why, but I had to think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was like, no, mate, I wasn't on the piss at all. And he's like, no, you were. And he goes, oh, well, I just want to let you know you're starting tonight. And I was like, well, really? Like, I couldn't work it out. Are you taking the piss out of me or not?
Yeah.
And, soon enough called me back, and the keeper coach called me and all this sort of stuff, and I was like, all right, yeah.
This is
am
it.
playing.
And how old were you then? Sorry.
18.
Yeah.
18. So it was, kind of that 17 to 18, got the chance probably back end of the year.
Yeah.
But, it was the last game that Western Sydney Wanderers hosted at Pertec Stadium. And, let's just say I was a nervous wreck. I walked out into the tunnel with my warm-up shirt on. And one of the other boys in the other team goes, "Hey, mate, are you nervous or something? Go put your actual jersey on." And I'm like, oh.
Oh, no way.
So, yeah.
But, I mean, it must have been a huge moment, and it's one of those things when moments like those and all the sacrifices, everything's going in your head. You probably think about your parents, you think about your family, everyone that's helped you along the way, and to finally get there, it must have been just amazing. Last game at Pertec, like big crowd, just ready to go. People India.
Yeah, no, it was good, and I guess once you get to that moment and you're walking in and you're on the bus and it's like, you go, okay, like this is really it. Like this is.
And maybe it's more of the point you just don't want to screw up.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Because that other stuff might come a bit later, but actually, I don't want to screw up today. Fuck it up. I'm not coming back.
No, that's right, and. The other thing I've never had to face before being a goalkeeper, obviously there's the pressures of every game, but it's televised. There's people that can make a highlight reel. There's people that can do anything with the footage that could present after the game. And
I get nervous like that before this.
You should.
No, so it was a good experience, and obviously afterwards you start to read messages and people that have been there for you through the years that you've sacrificed, and the ones that do know, like you read those and you're like, you feel it, that it's come from a good place. But it's just it was an amazing thing, and I'm grateful, to be honest, coming from a place where I thought you couldn't. So.
If we go forward then, what brought you to Hamilton Olympic and how have you found that?
I left playing at the Mariners, and I was in the position to move back from the Central Coast because my parents are still here, and I just wanted to play some local footy, enjoy it again. I had contact with Maitland, and Joel Griff called me straight away, and he's like, "Hey mate, we're looking for a keeper. Do you want to come in?" I said, "Well, let's sit down and have a chat first. Like, what do you, I had a chat, and I said the other part of it is like obviously at the moment I'm unemployed. And I want to get into real estate. So if you can make something work and everything, seems fine in the direction you want to go, then I'm happy to just go ahead.
And that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the club's made a lot of developments, like off the park. Huge difference to the ground. We've both been there.
It's unbelievable.
And if you haven't been there, get there and have a look. But it's sensational.
Yeah.
But the playing surface itself, at this time of the year, probably not that flash. I just want to go back. Paulie DeVitis and Neil Owens, coaches coming into this group this year. At the start of the year, would have had pretty high expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a lot of emphasis over the last couple of years on getting that development sorted, and obviously all the funding and all that sort of stuff through the club. And I feel like we've done well. But this year, the emphasis was really on the team and to have obviously a fresh start, Paul and Neil to come in and take charge and really, I guess, assert a way that we want to play, which we started in October last year pre-season to try and do that. But ultimately it was a decision that they come in. They've done well, and I guess at the moment we're just in a position where we should be, I believe.
And is the ground are they moving the ground so it's on centre, isn't it? That's the plan, isn't it?
That's the plan.
Which will give better drainage, and it's going to be a really good facility, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I guess move it back a little bit, so it's a bit easier for the fans and stuff.
See the winning posts of the races when things.
So Neil and Paul are both very different coaches, aren't they? Like different styles, I should say.
Yeah.
I've known Neil Owens for longer than I want to tell you, but they bring a different dynamic to the group together, don't they? It seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, look, Neil and Paul, they complement each other well. I think Neil's he's got some real good ideas about the play and things like that, and technical, I guess, points about people's striking ability, all that kind of stuff. So he picks up on that. Neil's really comes alive like game day as well. He's good at getting a message across and putting a bit on it to say, well, look, you kind of leave there going, all right, like, let's go.
This is the reason.
This is the go. Yeah. Where Paul's a bit more, I'd say, in terms of they both coach. I can't say one doesn't do what I mean. It's like, but Paul, I guess, comes across. If you obviously know Paul, he's very as Neil is, like, softly spoken and gets a point across, and I guess has his arm around players as well. So they both complement each other well and on board with what they're doing. So
that dynamic, because I was going to ask, sorry to jump in, because we normally see the old good cop, bad cop kind of. Lambton's the good example of Jaffers. You got Tench, who's laid back as they come, pretty much on the phone, whatever, coming up doing interviews 20 minutes before. You can talk to him on the sideline, and he's got the game as going
nuts,
all hands everywhere, doing sign language and speaking left-handed braille.
Look, I just wanted to touch on where we're up to at the moment, this part of the year, and you're right. I was seeing them, you guys, as someone that would come through. Would have liked to have seen it a bit earlier for you, of course, but that's where we're at. The playing surfaces all around the region are pretty tough at the moment, and then if you look at your pitch and you go down there, you wouldn't say it's perfect by any stretch. Like, it's typical of where we're up to. The game on Tuesday night against New Lambton, and there's a ton of goals there that have happened on one night for an NPL game. It's like rare that you see that many goals. I was having a chat to Reece Cooper this morning. He was just saying you're sharp. You guys are slick, I think the word was used, and that surface allows you to go ahead and do that. So you're capable of punishing teams, just being in the right type of conditions.
Yeah, that's right. And look, like Coop said, I felt like last night and you touched on as well, like the field is definitely something that obviously is a big part in how you want to play footy. It doesn't matter for someone, they just pump it up the line and it's like just play off second ball. But we like to play, and I think getting into positions where it becomes a bit more risky to play that ball, to turn out or to bounce a pass. The next option is to go. So it's like when we played last night on the synthetic, it was able to get the ball down, move, and I think we scored 3 goals starting from me at the back. We just 1 touch, 2 touch, and it was just like it looked good. That's what we can do. But I think at this time of the year, you've got to play the conditions. And
you got to win, don't you?
Got to win. At all costs.
Is Nathan Toby? Sorry, is he still in the side?
Tobe started last night. Tobe's he's a good lad. Tobe.
He's a funny kid. I've known him since he was a little kid, and they used to have because I'm rough Gary and I've got a mate Smooth Gary, and they used to live out the back of the house there, and the 2 boys used to play practical jokes on him when he'd come home drunk, and he's always been a funny kid, and they used to get the glad wrap and he'd come home drunk and go through the screen door, that sort of character, so it's good to see he's going well, and good young player, he's sort of come through a few systems himself as well.
Absolutely. Tobes is good. He's he's a greyhound. He's fast.
He's so quick. I can't believe it. And it's funny because I played with his dad, and he runs exactly like him and his dad run exactly the same.
Yeah, right. Okay, there you go. Well, I think he scored 2 last night.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have got 1, 2. So he did well.
He always seems to crop up. When we get a few.
Yeah. So is your team right now? Are they in position to win it? As in, get through the semis and get to the grand final and win a grand final?
Look, I think so. I mean, I'm not scared of any team. We went through. We played Magic. We're 1-0 up against them. Late drama with Hoffy being sent off. It's not Hoffy's fault or anything. It's just the way the game goes. And when you go to 10 men against a team like that, it becomes difficult. My mistake. I made a mistake in the last 93rd minute. Didn't punch the ball. But that's a team I don't feel like I'm threatened by. Lambton, I think we beat them, but then we played them.
Cracking semi last year, by the way, wasn't it?
Yeah,
was it last year or the year before?
Year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they only beat us the first round this year on a penalty. Like they're a good team. They're experienced.
I like it. I like it. I like the confidence. We're edgy.
Edgy. They're a tough team. I believe the last back end of the year, the team that we've played, that's given me a bit of a okay, this team could do something.
Yeah.
And they've gone and shown that they've climbed the ladder.
Who else is in the race? Valentine, of course.
Valentine are always good.
And
They set up we played them and they played a back five.
Yeah.
And it was just what's going on here? Was it to try and get a 0-0 and get away with the game?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So,
it's an interesting tactic.
I'd love to play Magic again.
Yeah. Would you?
Who is in the 2024 grand final this year?
I have to
With
say
you,
us.
against you.
Us and
I like this.
Edgeworth.
I like this. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not. I wouldn't say it's overconfident. It's just the steel in your eyes scares me. It scares me a little bit.
No, I think on our day, we're a good team, and the Hoffy coming in at the back end of the year.
Yeah, it's been pretty good for you guys, hasn't it?
For us, and we've been able to create and in goal scoring opportunities and honestly see out games and win. Like that period where before the Magic game, I think we were 5 unbeaten or 4, I can't remember, but we'll say 5. And then obviously in that game we're leading against Magic. So I think there's, I don't want to be.
What about Azuri?
Yeah, Azuri good. You just got to be physical.
I say it. I know I say it every week, but they are probably the most physical team in the competition, right from goalkeeper through. Reem Ferguson's not a big guy, but he's 100 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
He's probably the strongest striker that you'll come up against.
You think so? Yeah. I was going to say because he always pops up at the right moment, and he's one of those strikers, isn't he? Carl Bradbury's got a bit more finesse about him, but he's got a bit more ball about him,
he's good. Ren, he's good back to goal.
Yeah.
He's a good target man, and you always seem to see Rutsy and Marcus at the back, almost falling over trying to hold him up, and he's still manages to hold the ball. So he's a threat. But look, I don't know. It's one. I don't want to be too confident, but I'm obviously going to say that I would love to win the grand final.
Yeah, I'd like to see the speed of Marcus Duncan at the back. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I called him slow during the year.
Did he also have a cheese factory? Is that the same?
Yeah, he did. We won't get into that.
We won't get into that. No, that's awesome. And I know you touched on it before with a bit of the. I like this about goalkeepers. They got a bit of yap about them. Yeah. Bit of sledging. So who's the best striker in the comp that you can just mentally disintegrate? Oh. If you're playing out there and you just barking at them, who are you barking at? And just
Stewie from Magic.
Yeah.
Throw the hook out. And
He definitely he's got a temper, hasn't he? Yeah,
he's on. We had a few words.
I saw that. Yeah,
Magic and
come on, Stewie.
Yeah.
He got subbed off at the
I've seen a couple of goalkeepers get under his skin actually. BK and Ben McNamara as well.
Guy, but I just I don't like strikers on the field, and if they don't play for me,
fair enough.
That's
what I love about goalkeepers. They've got that don't give a shit attitude. Yep. Love it.
That's it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we got a couple of other questions as well. We normally ask people. Time to take the jacket off. No, I'm joking. keep it on. So it's you've given. Are you married? Are you?
Nah, single. Single, yeah.
Even better. So it's your last end of season trip ever. We're going to Vegas. We've got heaps of funds, more than enough. CT, myself, and Gaz are coming. You got to pick 5 of you. 5 of the best. 5 who you think, young or old, from your whole career. Could be your family from Minmai, I don't care. Who's coming with?
What kind of activities are we getting up to?
Fucking everything.
Everything. Shit, okay, hold on.
We're going to ride all the rides on the first night and the second night into the 5th night.
Okay, I'd say Joel at work. Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Choose. You'd have to throw Choose in there. I don't know. That's put me on the spot because I'm like, there's so many, good mates. But my household. So I live with 3 other boys.
No, they play football with her?
Nah.
They've got to be from football. Sorry.
Oh, they've got to be.
Yeah.
So
that's
in
right.
the team.
Well, at least you didn't say your girlfriend.
No, girlfriend.
Young Nate Caro said girlfriend. Typical striker.
Mistake. No, from the team, I'd say Joey, Griff.
It can be from your whole career.
Oh, okay. So
I'm making
this is-
you are a goal. You are a goalkeeper.
I'm going, yeah.
Jesus.
No, I'd keep it now because obviously in the other stuff you can't be as loose and wild. So,
Yeah.
Joey, I'd say Rutsy. When Rutsy winds up, he's a good character.
Yeah.
Griff, Lockie Griff.
Yeah.
He can give it a nudge. Who else we got? Yeah, Archie.
Yeah.
He's good. And you know what? I'd probably say, Coops.
Yeah, cool.
Coops.
Is Nate Davey good on a?
Look, do you
is
know
he
what?
good?
In terms of our social aspect of the group, like
because
it's
his
hard to
father was
describe.
best. His father was until he stopped playing for 10 years and still coming to Mad Monday.
Yeah. No, Tobes is a bit he's funny on the piss. He's one of those who picks his moments. He's not like we just had 3 on. I've left the car now. He's a bit conservative with the approach to it.
So he's out. He's out then.
Yeah.
So we've got the 5.
Rutsy's the best value.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
We had to change this other question. It was about and you don't have a wife anyway. So you're on the punt. You got a players' day.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the bar. Because you can pay with your phone. You leave your wallet on the table. Who in your team don't you trust?
Westy.
Yeah.
Because I know that the money that'll be left in there will already be gone by the time I turn around.
Would he invest it?
He'd be
Punting. Yeah.
for sure.
That's all right then. That's
As long as he
that's
picks
doing
me
you a
up.
favour. Yeah.
But all reports, I don't think he gets up too often.
Very good, CT. Before we get to the wrap
that's
up,
it. We do have a couple of photographs from my last trip to Bali.
Oh,
shirt
yeah?
off and everything. So don't worry about it. No, we're not.
I was going to say that.
no. That's where they are on that. Goes
No, it's been great having you on, mate.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in, and it's great insight.
Which is good. I mean, honest, and I'm being all seriousness. I'm not fawning over you, but it was a really cool story to hear what you went through and coming in. Yeah, I'm actually fawning. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Look, I'm not wanting to speak about anything. If
No,
you
it was
ask
really
the question,
cool.
I'll tell you. But
First goalkeeper too on the show.
right,
second.
Okay. Who?
Last week, Mick.
Oh yeah.
But he's not playing.
Yeah, no, it's been a privilege and honour to come in and have a chat with you guys. And
An honour.
it's good
I've
to
never
talk.
heard that either.
And I'll tell you what,
this is a first for everything.
Gaz Wilson's not here
Yeah,
today,
that must be it.
Yeah, but maybe. But see, normally it's a recruiting session as well for Edgy, but young Conway Benny's doing okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'd never
Phil-
leave blue and white. It's unless they kick me out, then I'll just retire.
Well, we're kicking you home.
Yeah.
Well, I'll retire from this, that's for sure.
We'll come
Head
back.
to radio.
Yeah. That's what we got to head for BarTV. Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back with just a quick wrap up of the round. You guys are chasing another win, so we'll talk about that too. Welcome back, everybody. We have gone well and truly over time as usual on BarTV Sports. That's probably I'll put my hand up for that. My fault. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Probably my fault.
No.
talking too
Normally, CT. We started off the year when we started the show. CT had the notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I said, look, let's get me lighter out of my pocket and burn them up.
Yeah.
Because it's been awesome having you on, Piercy. Match day 21 and 22, 2 rounds left, and it's all coming down to a Cooks Hill. Obviously didn't play last week with the catch-up round, taking on Edgeworth. This is a danger match for Edgy because Cooks Hill. They were in that. They were almost there this year. They've had a really good run home, which they did last year as well. But Edgy coming off that 4-1 loss mid-season, obviously going to have a player suspended as well.
Yeah, Chris Fayers will be out.
Yep.
Any time you've got something
And
extra
he's been-
special on because you've been in this spot,
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, all focus goes there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then it takes time. Talks about that time to break it. But how long does it take to get back into your normal rhythm?
I think it probably comes in like the game. I think
Yeah.
digest actually being back on the field. It's not, I'm sure there would have been a crowd there.
Yeah.
Just being actually in the game. I think you turn up and it's like, okay, we've got a game. Cooks Hill, I think Edgeworth might take them lightly. I don't know. I think.
Well, I mean, I know.
danger.
Well, we know Gary. He's had a lot to do with the kid now, and Caro. He's obviously leading goal scorer. He put a couple past you earlier in the year, didn't he? The young kid from Cooks Hill.
Yeah.
Nankaro. What do you...
Say that, remember?
Yeah, I know.
yeah. Good goalkeepers don't count. No. I mean, he's a real... he scares me against, with Fayers out. Fayers has been really controlling to that number 6 position at the back there, linking up with Pat Wheeler and stuff as well. He's not going to be there, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play it.
Yeah, and not just on Chris Fayers, he does a lot of work that people don't notice. So he's a lot of tackling, a lot of running. His distribution goes unnoticed because it's pretty simple. He just does that a lot, and sometimes he'll switch the play as well. So I think they will miss him.
Yeah, I think they definitely
the defensive.
Yeah, the defensive midfielder role.
When he came off in the Australia Cup, that's when they got exposed.
Yeah, and as you said, he's just like the pendulum, isn't he? He knows when to play forward, play back, and he always seems to make the right decision. So going to be hard to replace him, and without him there, sort of in front of Wheeler and Wowries, potentially that leaves them a little bit open to that fast front three of Cooks Hill, on the counter attack.
Yep.
There you go. Bet you didn't think I had that in me, did you, CT?
Surprised me every week.
Adamstown Olympic, you guys chasing the win, everything to play for. Adamstown, doesn't really affect them. They are going to be in that playoff position. So, to be fair, I think you guys have got this comfortably.
Well, I don't want to say that, to be honest, because the last three
You just called out. What do you mean? You just called out the entire competition. Told them you're going to throw down, win the bloody thing.
Well,
no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But I know, true.
We haven't. Since I've been there, I don't recall winning at Adamstown.
Yeah.
At their ground. So I think it's a bit of a bogey team. I think at the start of the year we lost to them 2-1 at Spears Point. I think it's just going to be a crucial game to just take chances and get one early. And not allow them to stay in the game.
Yeah.
But,
again, another young team, it's harder for teams like that to play the full 90, whereas, you've got a good mix of older heads and younger heads that can kick on, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's, in terms of Adamstown, they're not a lot to play for, but also probably understand the position we're in. And being young as well, you just don't know what you're going to get. Rocks and diamonds, and they could all turn up and be diamonds on Saturday. And it's we've got to then be, which we hopefully be on our best game and, be able to finish it off. But who knows? I believe it. Yeah, we'll get the result. But how are we going to?
CT.
Oh, look, I think Olympic will win it. They've got everything to play for. Adamstown, for sure. They've just got to go out there in their own minds, knowing that they've got a job to do and get it done. You can only play what's in front of you. Go and beat them. Go and play well. If they do that, they'll win. Adamstown, look, for me, I'd be really trying to get some good combinations happening, stuff that you've worked on, work on it, and do the best you can.
Well, they have to get it. They have to get a bit of form because they're coming into that sort of relegation playoff, so they want to get a bit of continuity as well.
We've seen from them in games where they've played really well, so they need to find that to be competitive in this one. But Olympic for me will win that.
Over at Lambton, we got Lambton v Lambton at Arthur Snedden Oval. It's at home. Coming off that 7-1 loss midweek, New Lambton. Jaffa's coming off a couple of losses as well, and a couple of injury concerns potentially as well there.
Yeah.
I know Thomas Stanley was very close to not playing on last night. So definitely be interesting to see if he takes his place.
Yeah.
And a couple of those boys played hard, like Ryman Norton played pretty hard last night. He'd be sore. Saw Sam Webb today, pretty sore.
Yeah. It's a different game coming up against an A-League opposition, that's for sure. But I think they'll probably use this game and take away, obviously, the result we had. Because Lambton's probably not going to be in the best headspace, or New Lambton, sorry. But I guess leading into the finals, I think Jaffas will be looking at this game to try and get some momentum at the back end of the year to take on the finals coming up pretty soon.
It's kind of a springboard, as you said, for them, isn't it? They need to play themselves into some form and pretty quickly as well. So, T, what do you reckon?
Yeah, just quickly, I think that Jaffas will get this done. New Lambton, though, they've been okay this year, and I think that the number of goals they've reduced the season bye has been the big reason they're not in trouble.
Piddington's a big part of that as well, isn't
massive.
he? He's,
Piddington's obviously...
Again, we spoke about the class of the fullbacks in the competition. He's another one.
Yeah, and I think like from the top end of the bottom end, they've kind of got really solid players in Kent Harrison up front, but he's been a bit solo for me. He hasn't had a whole lot of support throughout the season.
Well, it's pretty simple football. They play long ball pretty much, don't they? It's kind of how they. Let's be fair, but that's what keeps them in games.
Look, Shane Price he's made it very clear to his team that he doesn't want to concede goals, and they've done that. So, for me, they've had a great year because now they can set themselves up to be better than what they were this year for next year.
And is it true Wallara Oval's on the line after that as well?
What?
Wallara Oval's on the line after that?
Oh,
Aren't they having a scrap about it?
No, scrap about they're all covered now.
I just wanted to see what you said about that.
Yeah.
Lake Macquarie, Western travelling out there, the Roosters.
I think Western. No problem.
Yeah.
It's always tough to go there. Like you've seen teams throughout the whole year.
Horrible place,
and you've seen Magics and Jaffas, go out there and struggle and score late and win late in games. So it's not going to be easy. But I think Western, after playing them last week, if they can carry that into the game, it'll be a tough one for late.
Look, I hope for Pete Preston because he's come on the show. He's just got the heart in the right place and got the focus in the right place as well, hasn't he? So I hope they win at home. I hope they win at home, and have a good end to the season. They can't. Unfortunately, they'll be going down, but I just hope they have a good back end of the season. Get a couple of the boys get behind what the direction is and have a good season next year and back up again in 2026.
And it's unfortunate because I've spent a lot of time with Pete down on the coast, and when I found out that he was going to be the Lakes coach, it was like great because I felt like they needed someone like him. But it just feels like that when you play them, they're not
just too young. Like
too young.
I've said to CT and Gaz a few times. You go in the dressing sheds and you
17-year-olds.
You're passing the Clearasil because
they're
still popping pimples.
It's a young team.
CT, Lake Macquarie. I know. I said it's one of not my favourite places to go, but you love it, of course.
Yeah, I can't see them winning this one, so happy to move on.
But Magic v the People's Club, Valentine. Unfortunate for you, I'd love to see Valentine get up here. I think, and I had a brief chat to Adam Hughes on the weekend, and he said this is the one that they need. If they win this, then they're confident they're going to get through. So, unfortunately, everyone's writing their own script at the moment, I guess. So,
that's right. Yeah.
Not saying they will get through, but that's the thought in their camp. So I think they're going to come out. I know you mentioned they had 5 at the back. Well, I think they're going to come out a little bit more attacking in this one, and we saw early in the year they were getting quick goals early. I think we'll see a change to that again, and look for some quick goals early on, and then defend sort of towards the back end. When he brings himself on and shouts at his players.
I think Magic's the team that they've scored 65 goals this year. So I think the threat is that they score goals. So if you can get anything out of the game, like the way that they set up against us was we couldn't break them down. I can't remember what the score was. I think it was 1-0. 1-0 all, I think. But I think it's probably just about getting a result at some capacity for them. Any point's a good point at this time of the year. I think Magic will be... I hope they're too strong for him.
I think that's the game we're doing. I think that's matching around as well.
Yeah, I was going to say just to right that point there that I see an upset with Valentine, but now I'm going for Broadmeadow. Big danger game for Broadmeadow Magic because Valentine, when you plays like the calibre, of Cowburn in the team, for example, the guys that can score an upset and can do things, as part of a unit or on their own, and I can see an upset coming on the cards here, so I'm going to go with Valentine this week. I think a big carver party with Nick King afterwards as well. Well, Kingy will be there, Minister of Defence, right?
Who's back in form as well, mind you. He's been playing really well. And Azuri v Maitland, Battle of the Old Heads.
Where's that? Is that a...
It's at Charlestown, Lolcar.
See, I feel like that game could suit Maitland.
I think it could too. I'm actually with you. And this could be Charlestown. You know, who will they play next week? Valentine next week as well. So, Valentine next week could be playing for spot in the top 5. If Maitland do Charlestown this week, then it's on. You guys are safe. And
I think probably the biggest point for me would be that anything around the box and the game it'll probably be a lot of long ball.
Yeah,
there's only one striker in that position that's going to dictate the game, and that's Braden Crowley.
Yeah,
for me,
and he's back. Yeah.
I think he's someone who can bang goals in up at Charlestown.
Yeah,
and he'll be the difference for them, and Jimmy Thompson as well.
Yeah, well, it's a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I think Azuri have got the defence to cater for that. I've also got the feeling that, at the other end, Ferguson can do equally as well. He muscles in around. I've said it before, but I love the way Ferguson turns up at the right time.
Yeah.
Whereas Crowley, Thompson, those guys are building into it, and they really pick it up and run at you. Reno's just the man on the spot. Isn't he?
We've mentioned it a lot of times.
And when it's your shout, he's nowhere about. He's fantastic, and I think with their midfield, they'll muscle up for this one. It'll be a great game, and I can see them getting home.
I think certainly having Sutherland back is good for Azuri. They seem to be a lot more creative. I know he's come off the bench the last couple of times, but he's come on with his blonde locks, with blonde locks and his fake tan, and just looking the goods.
His teeth white.
No, he'll do his thing. The thing about Sutho is that he gives another dynamic. He's so skillful. Gosh, this guy could be anything.
He is, and Elkington as well has been pushed back into the midfield, which is, I think, they've been with him there. He's that little attack dog, isn't he? He just wins the ball and plays above his weight. And I think having those two in the side in the midfield has certainly helped.
Another player that does a lot of work off the ball, and a lot of tackling, and a lot of pick it up and roll it off. He's not going to be the flashy.
The Duke.
Yeah, Faze and he do a similar type role, but in different positions. So I think Azuri have got a lot to like about him.
Yeah, cool. Well, that is the wrap. And that's it. Thanks very much for coming in. And very insightful there too. You've got a future in the game.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been good.
Awesome. And thanks as always, CT. Good to have you back from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Glad you didn't fall over any snow hills and just punted and did what you did in New Zealand, what you did do over here.
Just maintaining some consistency. I won't be here next week. The week after I have.
That's okay.
Yeah, you guys are more than good.
Good luck with whatever you're doing, because it's a lot of things.
Thanks
very much, everybody, for tuning in to Between Two Poles with only one this week. We'll catch you next time.
Comes to Jim with a shot. Live again.